everybody, I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Joey Evans.
And I'm Mike DeLisio.
And today we're taking a look at a little game called Oliva, I think. They really put the word on this box very strangely. The O is around the lady, and the guy has the A on his arm. I'm not sure what's going on. This is from Pythagoras, and Pythagoras really likes to focus on the production of goods in their area. They really have. They've done sardines in the past, coffee, and now we have olives.
Olives.
Oh, that's right. I forgot your weird fascination with
Already
olives.
so excited about this game.
Yeah. Anyhow, we're going to take a look at it. It's a deck building game of sorts. We'll be right back. In this game, you're going to build a grid of cards here that are going to show 4 different markets. The top 3 markets will all have cards placed on them from this pile, and the rest from this pile, you notice that the colors of the backgrounds are different. That just shows you which cards go where. Each player will have a player board in front of them, as well as their own deck. They're going to place 2 cards, are going to be put at the top 2 spaces, and they're also going to get some resources. Some olives, that's the black cubes, some olive oil, the green cubes, and some money. The first thing that you'll do at the beginning of a round is you'll flip over one of these cards. These also track the number of rounds of a game. Greek, this means Greek cards are worth an extra point at the end of the game. We just put it to the top of the board. Then players are going to, from their deck, draw 5 cards. And they're going to pick 2 of those cards, put those cards face down here, and then discard the other 3. You'll be doing this every round, so if you ever need to draw cards from here, and there's not enough, you'll shuffle your discard pile and draw from, and put it back here for your deck to draw it. Then in turn order, each player is going to flip over one of their cards. So let's say I flip over this card. This card gives me an olive. However, at the top it shows this olive symbol, and since I already have an olive symbol here, I'm getting an extra one. And if another player has an olive token on their board, I would get another one. And if there's 2, so let's say the blue player had 2 of these out, and I have 2, then I'm collecting 4 olives with this action. So the more symbols that are out on other players' boards, you get to do your actions more than once. For example, this action here lets me cull a card, get rid of a card from my discard pile, draw pile, or even ones out here, and it's out of my deck forever. And the more of these out there, the more that I can do. What do the different actions do? I already mentioned 2 of them. This one lets you turn 2 olives into an olive oil. This one gives you money. Again, these all compound on each other. And then you got these cards here, which let me sell. These 3 let me sell olive oil to the top 3 markets. It costs 1 olive oil to buy this card, 2 to buy this one, 3 to buy this one. Some of them are just worth points. They go in your deck. You can actually, if you want, when it's time to cull a card, you can cull one of them and you'll still get the points for it at the end of the game. You set it aside in a separate pile. The other ones will be worth points possibly, like this Greek one's worth 1 point now, but they'll go into your deck and they're like better versions of maybe some cards you have. This one here gives you an olive. That's not that fantastic. And because it has this symbol at the top, it will only go off based on other flags that match it. You don't have to buy these, though. These are called nation cards. I can take this card, for example, and do it for free. Instead of paying 2 olive oil for it, because it's in the second position, I can take the action right now, culling a card, and then it goes to the top, which makes that country's flag worth 1 more. And then the more of these up there, at the end of the game, anyone who has those cards in their deck, those will be worth 3 points each because there's 3 of these flags up here. At the end of a player's turn, the row moves, actually it would move down like this, and then you would add new cards to it. So there's always cards out there. The bottom row is a little bit different. In the bottom row, when you take that action, you are paying money. These are cards that are definitely better actions. Like this one here, for example, you turn 1 olive into an olive oil rather than the base action that's 2 for 1. This is also worth a point at the end of the game. Some have different symbols on them, so they match more cards. This one lets me turn 2 olives into an olive oil and money. Sometimes cards will come out, they're points. This one's free to take. Just gives you 2 points for every Turkish flag that you have. This one costs you 2 coins, but it's 2 for every flag of that type. And There's all sorts of cards that are in there. If they're point values, they actually come below the row because they'll have their own costs. Otherwise, everything costs 1 coin, 2 coins, or 3 coins. Again, you can buy multiple cards as long as the symbol of the action you're taking. So if I play this one, I get 1 buy, but if 2 other players have this symbol out there, I could buy all 3 cards as long as I can afford it. Everyone's going to do this around the table where everyone gets to be the first player 1 time. So if in a 4-player game, you're going to go around the table 4 times. Once that's done, you'll start another round, reveal the next flag, and go around the table 4 more times. After a certain number of rounds are done, and that depends on the number of players, you're going to reveal all the cards in your deck and cards that you've culled and score points for them. These are straight points. These are points equal to the flag. And any cards in here that might give you various points, like at the end of the game, this gives you 2 points for every olive oil you have. So you will then score your points, and whoever has the most is the winner of the game. Well, it was funny. I was just the other day looking at some older Pythagoras games, and they've really come a long way in how their games look. They really have.
Wow. No kidding.
I will say, though, I find the setup of this game is a little tricky because almost all the cards have the same back.
Yes.
So I need to separate each person's deck. I need to have there's 2 different decks of cards, the one for the top 3 markets, the one for the bottom market. And that's not a huge deal, right? But it's something that storing it, and I can't like really store them in separate bags because the box is too small. So, and the front of them has different colors. Not a huge deal, but that's a bit of a thing. But once the game is set up, it flows pretty smoothly.
Yeah, it is a fair amount of setup for what is essentially a deck building card game. But I think that what you get out of it is worth putting in a little bit of extra time at the beginning, because what you end up with is a card game that really feels, while it has some elements of familiarity to it, it really feels unique to me. I remember just thinking, boy, this doesn't play like a typical deck builder. This doesn't play like a typical buying and selling game. There's some really unique elements to it.
Yeah, so let's mention those unique elements. First of all, it's a basic production game. Mm-hmm. 2 olives becomes 1 olive oil, at least at the beginning of the game. That's it, right? Get olives, turn them in olive oil. There's nothing else. Turn olive oil into point cards. But there's a couple things I really like. One, the point cards, when they are culled from your deck, still count as points.
I like that a lot.
So big.
Right. Otherwise, you probably would never use the cull action.
Right.
Secondly, and this is the biggest one, when you play an action or flip that action over, you get everybody's icons for it. And that is kind of the main focus of this game.
That's a massive thing for me because it almost feels like a push your luck mechanic. Not only pulling that card out, but when to play it in the round. Like, I think he's going to play this. I hope he does it first, and they're like, well, I want to play it first, but I don't want to because they'll get it. You know, it puts a lot of thought into such a simple move. It's
there's so many smart design decisions in this game, because as Tom, you showed in the overview, everyone's got this kind of player board, and you've got the 2 cards, after the first round, you've got the 2 cards kind of on top there, so people already know what things they might be able to follow, but you're also sometimes playing a little game of chicken of which of my 2 cards do I want to reveal first, because I know that this person might do what I want to do on my next one, so I want to do this. So it's got this kind of a follow mechanic that you'll sometimes see in games, but I haven't seen it done quite like it's done here. I think that's really, really smart. And I also really like that there's 2 different markets to sell to, and how they handled that, I think, was so smart too.
Yeah, it's really funny when I'm like very proud of myself. I flip a card over, I got 3 olives. The next person's like, yeah, but now I get 4. The next person's like, now I get 5. And you're like, come on. And it's one of the few games where turn order passes around the table each round. Going last is an advantage.
It is.
It's a big advantage here.
Big deal.
Yeah.
And so that's fun. That mixed with the point cards, this card is worth 5 points. This is a card that will let me do something during the game, but because it has the Turkish flag on it, it's going to be worth however many points those are. And you don't even have, you can not just use a card and not put it in your deck. But that also makes those cards more valuable. there's a lot of things to think about, but also turns aren't long. They're pretty
Right.
quick.
They're very quick. I will say, mentioning that whole market element, writing the stock of each of those, that's something that the first time played, there's so many different paths that you can go in here, just straight production. Or you just watch that market and you start taking those cards and then inflating that market value too. There's a lot to like about this game.
Now, the game's going to play different based on number of players. With 2 players, you have a couple extra cards that will be out there so that you can match the symbols. There's a faux third player symbols to match. But the difference between 3 and 4 was pretty noticeable. With 3, I'm like, oh, I'm matching stuff. 4, you're like, I'm always matching stuff. And so the game's a little shorter round-wise, but it also feels fulfilling, although I had at least one person say they liked it better with 3. Either way, I thought it was neat. I don't know, there's never such a game where I care about what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, very much. And like I said, it's this really just hard to put my words together for it, but it's just like nothing about it is completely different than I've played before, but everything is handled slightly differently. And it just leads to a kind of a fresh feeling experience where, you're looking through it and you're kind of getting the rules. And you're like, okay, I kind of see, I've played games like this before, but in the process of playing it, it just feels fresh and unique. And it's like, that was really smart. That was really smart. Making the cards you call worth still some points. Again, just really smart, and everything flows together. And is it the most thematic game in the world? Maybe not, but I really like the look of the game, and I like the fact that we're doing something that is not as common. I'm trading in olives for olive oil. Is that any different than trading in, 2 brick for this? Not necessarily, but it feels different. So I don't know. I just think this game pulls off a neat trick of making familiar things feel fresh.
Yeah. So overall, what'd you think?
I liked it a lot. I mean, again, I love the push your luck, which has a little bit, I think I just call it that because you're trying to play it at everybody else's, the market, all this. Coming in an 8. I do like this game a lot. I really enjoy it. I like the simplicity of it, but then I like a game that's simpler rule set, but then heavy in strategy. And this has it for a light game. And that's what's impressive on this, So there's so much to love about this game. So coming in at an 8 on it.
Mike?
Yeah, I'm gonna push it to the 8.5, just because it does feel so unique, and I'm not the biggest deck building fan. I've kind of been vocal about that deck building is not something that's going to make me interested in a game just by virtue of it being there. Unlike, Tom, you've mentioned that if you hear a game as deck building, you already have an interest. That's not the case for me. I'm pretty ambivalent to deck building, but I really think the way it's done here is great. You do have cards that can upgrade your basic actions, so if you want to go into that kind of strategy, you can do that. You don't feel bad about culling your cards because, again, they're going to have some point value to them. I love the aspect of 2 different markets that you're potentially selling to, and in one market you may not actually even buy that card. You might put it up to make other cards you already have worth more points. Just really smart design decisions that I think gets it to that excellent stage for me.
Yeah, I agree. It's an 8.5 for me. It was really, just a surprise. It felt really refreshing. I do like deck building games, but the deck building for this it just felt different. It was more about, not so much the deck building, there's a little bit of that, don't get me wrong, the cards in your deck, but it's about picking those 2 cards. I love you have 5 cards, you pick 2. The other 3 are out. And I'm trying to pick 2. I'm hoping you kind of pick them the same as me, and then you'll play it before me. That will make mine better. And occasionally I want to go first because there's a card out there I really want to buy. That will help me out. The different point values, I don't have to explain almost. Once you explain the rules, you don't have to look in the rule book much. It's just a nice flowing little game. I think this is one though that a lot of people are going to miss. We have all these games coming out from Essen as very soon, and I think this one might get lost in the flow, and I think it shouldn't. I think it stands out on its own.
Agreed.
So that's Oliva. Eat your olives, play this game. I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Joy Evans.
I'm Mike DeLisio.
You eat too many olives.
I don't like olives.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you like this review or whatever you just watched, wasn't it amazing? Check out our channel, Dice Tower. We have all kinds of things. We review games. We do top 10s. We play games live. It's all about board games, but especially the people who play them. Check out Dice Tower YouTube channel.